So it is April 15th and it is a beautiful day. It's about 52 degrees Fahrenheit and it's around 5:30 in the evening, and I finally got around to mulching my pathways around my square foot garden. I think this is really important to do this every year to keep the weeds out of my beds. Now I'll get weeds in the walkway, but it's real easy to pull the weeds in the walkways because I have that weed block underneath the mulch. And so the weeds don't really root down, so they're super easy to pull, and so that's no problem. But I always like to make sure to fresh mulch it after a long winter so it looks nice for the video. So anyway, I felt like I really accomplished something today. And it's supposed to get cold tonight. We might get into the high 30s, so around 38 in my area, and I live at a kind of a higher elevation, so we might even be 36 or something like that. So anyway, I just want to show you how the garden's doing. My potatoes are up and growing. Normally you shouldn't plant those too early, but I always do. So let's say tonight if it gets really cold, maybe it gets colder than it was forecasted to, and we actually have a freeze for some reason, it will kill all of the foliage there on the potatoes. But from my experience, that happened one year and then it just grew right back. So I had no problem and I had just a very good harvest. So I'm trying that again this year, just planting them a little bit early. And so those are Austrian crescent potatoes. And then of course my peas are up and growing real well, and I have videos on most of the things I'm going to show you. I have done just single plant growing videos on most of all of the plants that I'll show you. Okay, so peas, I have one on. You're welcome to check my channel out if you haven't seen it. And then cilantro. Now this overwintered for me. I planted this in the fall. You can see how beautiful it is, and I have just been clipping away at it. It is just so wonderful to have cilantro growing nice and big and lush like this first thing in the spring, and I didn't even have to do anything. It just really took off once we got a good rain, and I planted it, you know, like I said last fall, just put some seeds in my soil. Okay, so over here I have some just baby spinach growing, and it's looking really good. And you plant those 9 per square foot, and I had 1 or 2 seeds that didn't come up for me, so I popped some parsley down there where I would have otherwise had a spinach plant. Alright, and so here is my other bed. I have some spinach which overwintered that I planted over the fall, and then here is just some more parsley that I planted. I actually transplanted this out a few weeks ago. This was my first planting of Chinese cabbage, and then right there is my second planting. So I like to do 2 plantings about 3 weeks apart. So I covered that in my cabbage growing video. And then I have just some lettuce that overwintered. And I'm very surprised because we had a lot of snow. And a lot of time, and we didn't have a lot this year. We did have snow though, but we didn't have as much as we normally do. So maybe that's why my lettuce survived. So there's scallions looking really nice, planted in the fall. So those had rooted down enough to make it for this spring. Look how beautiful. And let's see, so just some more cabbages. I have, like I said, 2 plantings of those, and the reason why I do 2 plantings is so that when my first planting starts to mature, I can harvest those over a period of probably 1 to 1.5 weeks, and then by the time I'm done with those, the other ones will be ready to harvest. So I'll have a continual harvest of cabbage for about 4 weeks. Okay, so planting that way will help me have cabbage for a long period of time, and I don't have to figure out how to store it. You know, it's enough to get out in the garden and get it planted and get it growing. So the thing I like to do is eat what I grow fresh. I try not to have to figure out ways to store it, but sometimes I have too much and I have to figure out what to do with it. But my idea is to try to eat what I harvest as soon as I can. And so you might be wondering what this is right here. Now this is a broccoli plant that I put in the garden in the fall, and it really never had a chance to head up. So as an experiment, I pulled the other 3 out and I left 1 in here because I had 4 plants, and it was pretty much, it looked terrible all winter long. It looked like it was just going to die. And then all of a sudden, I guess last month, it just started, you know, producing the side shoots, which you'll get. And I've been just harvesting a lot of these and just sauteing them in some garlic butter with a little salt. Just wonderful. So good. And a little olive oil in there too. And they have just been wonderful. Now they're just starting to get bitter, which I expected. But since this plant went through a long cold winter below freezing, it really sweetened up the plant. So I was very surprised at how wonderful the broccoli turned out. So I plan to do that again next year. I'm going to try to just plant my broccoli in the fall, and then I'll have spring broccoli, even though it might not be a big head of broccoli. Okay? Now over here is a real sunny bed, and so I'm saving most of this room for peppers and tomatoes, because I'll be putting my summer vegetables in about 3 weeks. So I'll make sure I have plenty of room for those. Again, another planting of cabbage, and that would be, this is my first planting and then my second planting, and I have some arugula right there behind it. Normally you only plant cabbage 1 per square foot, but I happen to have that arugula coming up, so I couldn't bear to pull it out. It grows real fast anyway, and so I'll be pulling that out before this cabbage heads up. Okay, so you can kind of do that too. That arugula, I'll have to pull it out before it bolts. Now over here are shallots. They are up and growing. I think these are ambition shallots, I think. And then another spring bed here. Over here, more nap cabbage, another planting of spinach. This one's about 2 weeks behind that other planting I just showed you. And then this spinach here was from the fall, so it overwintered great. You all know I don't use covers or anything on my beds. I just kind of got away from doing that because I try to grow indoors, you know, in the winter. So, and then this is rapini, like a broccoli rabe. So I'm starting to get some little shoots on there. It's a really pretty plant right there. And then some more cilantro. That overwintered. More cilantro back there. And I have a chive plant back there. It's about to give me some little flowers. So I have a real pretty video on how to make chive blossom vinegar. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a little card for you. And so that's the garden right now here in spring. Oh, one more thing I want to show you. Beets. I've already planted my beets and they are up. Just barely though. And I showed y'all what to do with those after they get up and growing. I did a video on that last year, and I'll make sure to leave that for you too. I really, really enjoyed growing beets last year. They were so yummy. And this is our new little dog. We got him when he was 9 months old in December. And his name is Cody. It's a little bitty thing. We lost our other dog, our sweet little Otis, in December. So we had him almost 10 years. So he had some kind of growth. They think it was on his kidney. But now we have been blessed with this sweet little thing. He is so cute. Come here, Cody. Hey, sugar. He's so sweet. Our family just loves him to death. He will take off though, so I have to put him on a little rope out here. But it's fun to have him out here when I'm working in the garden. So he loves to just run around in the yard. But I wish I could just let him loose, but I can't because he just will take off. He's very fast. So he's about a year old now, and we've just really enjoyed him. So that's our new little Cody. He is actually half Yorkshire Terrier and half Maltese. So he's a little mixed breed, I guess you could say. Cody, hey. Hey, sweetie, aren't you cute as can be? Yes, you are. Yeah, hey. All right, now I'm signing off. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a beautiful day.